Okay, here are solutions to perfect problem 5 for 111. Kind of a tough problem, so sorry. So what's going on is we have a roommate that's going to sell DVDs, and if she charges $7, she'll sell 180 of them. But if she raises the price to $10, she'll only sell 120 of them. And we assume that demand is linear. We want to find a function that tells us the quantity that will be sold if she charges P dollars. So this is saying a function where Q equals something in terms of P. So the way you might want to think about this is that quantity is what you think of as the Y, and price is what you think of as the X, since price is going to be our variable here. So basically what we're given here is two different points. We're given the point when X equals 7, Y equals 180. So we got 7 and the point 180. And then we got another point when X equals 10. The quantity is 120. So I don't know if you want to use X's or P's. At any rate, what we want to do is figure out, let's use X's and Y's. I think that'll make things easier for people to read. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So we have 2 points, and we know that this function is linear, so that's enough to figure out the equation of the line. We should first figure out the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's negative 60 divided by 3, which is negative 20. And once you know the slope, you can say maybe y equals mx plus b, y equals negative 20x plus b, and then grab one of these points. Either one, it doesn't really matter. I'll grab this guy. And we got 120 equals negative 20 times x, which is 10, plus b. This is negative 200, so if you add that over to the other side, you get that b equals 320. 320. So our function is y equals negative 20x plus 320, or I guess if we want it in the variables they gave us, we would say that quantity as a function of price is equal to negative 20 times the price plus 320. It's kind of hard to read. Good enough, maybe? And this right here would be our answer. Okay? Using our answer from part A, find a function R of P that tells you the total revenue she will generate from selling DVDs. Okay, this one's easier than it looks. What you need to know is that revenue is just price times quantity. So we know what quantity is in terms of price, so we could say revenue is equal to price times, and then instead of writing Q, we could say that Q is negative 20p plus 320. I guess you could leave it right here. Maybe I'll write R of P just so it follows the answer a little, or the question a little closer, but that's the end of part B. In part C, we need to find profit. What you need to know about profit is that profit is what you take in, the revenue, minus what you give out, the cost. In this case, that cost is this $1,100. So really, for part C, there's not a whole lot to do. We say profit as a function of P. Unfortunate that they're both P here. Sorry about that. Let's see, here's our revenue up here. Right, P times negative 20p plus 320. So profit is revenue, which I just wrote, minus cost is $1,100. And there's our profit function as a function of price. Okay, all of that was just so we can do part D. Part D, we're asked, okay, you're given this mess, write it as a transformation of the parabola, of our standard parabola. So what you want to do there is first distribute that P through. So we got profit is equal to negative 20 P squared plus 320 P minus 1,100. Now we got to complete the square on this. So let's see, maybe if I throw brackets in up here, I can factor out a negative 20. And then what I'd have left in my brackets would be p squared minus, careful there, 16p minus 1100. Now, since I have a leading coefficient of 1, I can complete the square. Negative 20 and 1100 stay on the outside. What changes is that in here I'm going to have p something squared minus something. What goes here is half of this number, so negative 8, half of negative 16. And what goes here is this number squared. Negative 8 squared is 64. And so we get to this stage. Still not quite done. Running a little short on room, so maybe I'll jump up here. If I take that negative 20 and distribute it back in, I get negative 20 times p minus 8 squared. Negative 20 times 64. Let's see, 2 times 64 is 128. So 20 times 64 is 1280 minus 1100. And one more simplification step brings me to, let's see, 1280 minus 1100 is 180. This step right here. So complete the square, express this as transformations of a parabola. I have done that. This right here is transformations of our parabola. We move to the right by 8, have this stretch and this flip, both vertical, and move up by 180. Okay. Wow, this problem's brutal. Find and intercept the meaning of the vertex, x-intercepts, and y-intercepts. Y-intercept of p. Let's see, for the vertex, this negative 20 doesn't move the vertex at all, so the vertex moved to the right by 8 and up by 180. So vertex is equal to 8, 180. Let's see, and to interpret that, so maximum profit of $180 is reached when $8 is charged, when price is $8. Maybe all right per DVD. Or something like that. That's what the vertex means. The x-intercepts come when, let's see, I guess I'll write this here, x-intercept. That comes when y equals 0. So y is this function out here. So to find the x-intercepts, I say 0 is equal to my function. I'm going to use this form of the function, negative 20 times p minus 8 squared plus 180. If I subtract 180 and divide by negative, well, I'll do it in steps. Negative 180 equals negative 20 times p minus 8 squared. Divide by negative 20, you get 9 equals p minus 8 squared. Take the square root of both sides, you get 3 equals p minus 8. Actually, you get plus or minus 3 equals p minus 8. Be careful there. And so finally, to solve, I don't know where to go, maybe right here. So up here maybe. So let's take this up to here. We get p is equal to, let's see, 3 plus 8 is 11. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. 5 comma 11. And to interpret that, I would say, so let's see, the x-intercepts is when y equals 0, so she would break even. She would make $0 in profit. She will break even, to put it into econ terms, if she charges $5 or $11. And finally, y-intercept. Very short on room, but thankfully y-intercept is pretty short. Maybe I can squeeze it in down here. The y-intercept comes when x equals 0. P in this case, because p is our x. I think the easiest place to plug that in would be way up here. If you plug in P as 0 up here, you get that the y-intercept is negative 1100. And so what that's saying is her profit will be negative $1,100 if she charges $0 per DVD, if she gives them away for free. So she loses $1,100 if she charges $0 per DVD, which makes sense, right? Because she's charging $0, she makes $0 in revenue, and she's still going to lose this $1,100 for bail. Although you might wonder why she'd be paying bail. She gives them away for free, but ignoring that little part, she would lose $1,100 if she charges 0. That's what our y-intercept means. And finally, that is the end of this perfect problem.